Oh, it might be the music. Those are all plastic. It might be one of the CDs. Something underneath. Oh, what do we got on the radio?
Individuals who wanted to be able to build their own wealth, but going forward, be able to take half of the Social Security tax into a personal account. It's not a privatization.
Go ahead, Teresa.
That was what George Bush proposed, and it does privatize, taking money out of the Social Security system and put them into private accounts. What that does is just diminish Social Security even more when we need the opposite from Social Security.
But are you hearing from people who say, I want more?
Totally hearing from people that they want their own wealth and they want control of their own wealth and they want a robust Social Security system. Low-income workers who work in coal mines, who work in the Lady Garden workers right now, who are working as janitor in my building in New York, who work in your janitorial staff, they bargain for higher wages, more Social Security, and they want a pension. So the proposal I talked about in Congress now, supported by Republicans and Democrats, would give a thrift savings plan-like program to all low-income workers. That minimum wage worker whose question you played would have Social Security, and if Bernie Sanders' proposal goes through, a higher Social Security benefit, and she would also have a pension on top of that. That 70-year-old would have a good Social Security system, not the one that the Heritage Foundation wants, but a robust Social Security system, and on top of that, a thrift savings plan-like account. So maybe the Heritage Foundation and I both agree that people need to have more than Social Security, but Social Security needs more money, not less.
Rachel? Yes, I think that we do need people to have more savings. I would like to note that I'm a Rachel Gressler and speaking on behalf of myself, and yes, I published these things to the Heritage Foundation. But I think that we are just finding that the pension plans that everybody is longing for, they're insolvent, they're broken, and they're only going to be there if we allow taxpayers to bail them out. And so I think we can agree. I would love to see universal access to retirement savings plans. I think that should be something that people own and it comes from their own savings and not anything that is mandated or taken from other taxpayers.
I want to get to some of the interesting solutions we're hearing from some of our listeners. Steph emails, the Social Security system should be completely reversed. Instead of an income cap, there should be an income floor. If I'm not earning enough to get by without applying for social services and unable to own a home or access adequate health care, I should not be paying into Social Security. Rachel, your thoughts?
That is an interesting thought, and that gets to how big the program has become over time. When Social Security started out, it was a 2% tax, and the founder said this will never take more than 6% of your income, and today we're at 12.4%, and really has to be 16, 17%. And so I think that is an argument for getting back to what Social Security was meant to be, is to provide kind of a basic floor of income, but not to take so much from people's paychecks that it prevents them from being able to save and afford things on their own.
Teresa, your thoughts about Steph's idea?
I heard the question differently. That this idea was that if I'm a low-wage worker and I don't have any access to other things, why do I pay Social Security tax at all, is what I heard. And so that is actually what's embedded in the Earned Income Tax Credit. The Earned Income Tax Credit gives money back to low-income workers, and one of the intention of the Earned Income Tax Credit is to pay the Social Security tax for the low-income workers. But I agree that tax should be more progressive, and that's why I want to lift the cap.
We also heard from Stuart who emails, as a recently retired dad of 3 young adults in their early 20s, I see firsthand how important saving for retirement is, and I'm doing my best to get them started by saving in Roth IRAs and or 401ks. Time flies by, and starting to save early is important. We also heard from Professor Arun Muruglichan, my apologies, with Georgetown University, sent this email. Nobel laureate Robert Merton and I have advocated for the creation of a simple retirement fund that the U.S. could issue that can allow poor individuals and uncovered workers to get a guaranteed real retirement.
There's too.
It is low cost.
This is where the
and
campground
can
is,
be bequeathed
where you'd
and
get
bought
off
in
for the
slices
campground.
As small as $5 at a time, all through an app. So another interesting proposal. I'd like to hear each of your
I think he said it was 32.
Yes, I think that
when
was
we
an
were on the
option that's out
phone.
there for individuals in this
Or something like that, 31, 32
by
or
TSP,
something like
there
that.
would be in just a special treasury issue
Oh.
bond. At the end of the day, the only problem with that is if somebody's guaranteeing it, then it is the taxpayer. So you can't eliminate the risk entirely, but yes, it would be great if we could have more options available to everybody.
Teresa, briefly?
Yes, everyone should be able to save, but there does need to be money from the government.
Get gas here, maybe I'll get gas
There's
here.
got to be a government match, or else we'll pay for it some other way.
Well, let's
We'll get gas here. We got less than a
Senator
half a
from
tank.
Vermont for Bernie Sanders. Senator Sanders, thanks for joining us.
Go ahead and get gas.
Now, you held a hearing in February addressing what you're calling the retirement
There's a
crisis
nice
in the
cafe
Midwest.
where
What
the
are some
campground is,
reasons
but it's a
for
kind of a
retirement access to finance?
drive out there, and they might not even be open today.
For many decades now, is a massive shift of income and wealth.
That would be a nice place to
90% to the
eat,
top
but I
1%.
think it's 10 miles.
We have seen workers earning very
Maybe
low
8 or
wages
10
not
miles.
keeping up with inflation. We have seen defined benefit pension plans done away with. And for many seniors in this country, Social Security is just not doing it. The sad truth is that while we often think of ourselves as the wealthiest nation on earth, the reality is that in terms of our social safety net, for working people, low-income people, we are behind many, many other countries. We have one of the highest rates, not only of child homicide, but of working citizens as well. So we need to do some fundamental rethinking to make sure that in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, our seniors can retire with dignity.
Well, Senator, talk us briefly through your proposed plan to
Try
improve
to fix
retirement
this
access.
traveling too.
First thought, we need major reforms in Social Security.
It's a little high here, but I don't want
Right
to.
now, a quarter of
Should have got gas back away. It's 319 here. It's about what it was in Necedah.
$1,000 a year. That is unimaginable. About a half of it. I don't know how you do that. So first of all, we have to reform Social Security. What does that mean? It means that
1,636.3 miles.
a year, you pay into the Social Security Trust Fund the same amount of money as somebody.
Okay. What in the heck? I guess I can't play with that.